We haven't done a funny one in a while.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
We did last night.
That's what I'm saying.
Matt did one, the podcast episode before. Jakey did one last night. Rick did one last night. So, yeah.
Holy cow, you got a bunch of dudes here.
Yeah, well, not Matt last night, but Rick and...
Rick and you.
but we did 2 episodes, so they each came prepared. I said, come with something funny. And Matt always comes up with poems and crap. And so, whatever, dude, just, look up biker poem or something. I don't care. Right. Not right now, but...
I'll have something funny later.
You used to sing and all kinds of stuff.
I know. What the hell happened?
Although you did do good today. My actor.
My oldest daughter thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet she did, dude.
We're doing a commercial?
She thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Hey, Bikeaholics and listeners alike, the show is still going strong because of a lot of hard work and your support, of course. Thanks to all those loyal listeners and true friends of the show that have supported us or are supporting us. For less than a coffee a month, you can help support us too and put a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank to make sure this show keeps moving on down the road. So, calling all law-abiding bikers, head over to our Patreon page and take action today. You can do so at lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Oh, did I mention there's benefits too? From all your friends at lawabidingbiker.com, we appreciate each and every one of you. God bless and ride safe. That's right, Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Is in the house today, guys.
What's happening?
You better be ready for it. We got our hip waders on. We're going to be...
I'm still bruised from my earlier crash, so...
Dude, we're going to be knee-deep in oil today. Straight up, guys. We got a badass episode for you. Hang on. And now... straight from the Law-Abiding Biker Media Studio.
Out of sunny Yakima, Washington.
We bring you another episode of the
#1 listen to motorcycle podcast.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
Yeah, baby. Feel it. That's right. Rock and freaking roll. All you bikeaholics out there, thanks for checking back in. This is the podcast, as y'all know, for the motorcycle majority, the big MM, also known as the...
I don't know what I'm
99%
doing.
is what you're supposed to say.
There's no cue. There's no light.
You're sexting over there.
No, dude.
You're sexting on your phone and you weren't paying attention.
I'm reading the show notes. I'm trying to get squared away here. I got no idea what's going on.
Oh my God. If you're listening, and Oscar is, whether he's listening or not, he is part, and you are too, of what we call the biker revolution. That's right, large and in charge more than any time in history. Oh, that's right, guys. Mount up. What are you waiting for? Let us take you on another wild-ass ride. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law-Abiding Biker Podcast, your high-tech redneck. Of course, I'm not even going to cue Oscar to say that because he's probably not paying attention again as it was, but he's had a long day. So, Oscar, dude, it's been great. Great day.
Oh, it's been great. Loved it.
Still just, I love that, dude. Yeah, Oscar in the house, guys. Excited about that because, as you guys know, Oscar brings a different dynamic. Everybody here at Law Abiding Biker Podcast and Media brings a different personality, different skill set, which is why we're so diverse, which is interesting because you listen to some other podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but it's like the same one or two guys.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure people just tired of me. I'm sure I just let you guys one time. I should just, that would be fun, actually. I'll run all the equipment because nobody knows how to run all this shit. But at least put Lurch up here or you up here and you get to run it, though. I'll make sure the equipment's working, but you have to steer the ship and you have to do... What do you think about that?
I think that would be a huge train wreck.
I'm sure it would be a train wreck, but it would be freaking funny.
To who? You?
Right, to me.
Yeah. And everyone else.
I would love to see anybody sitting in my seat.
We wouldn't be able to do it.
And I would handle all the equipment on top of it, and somebody would still probably just a train wreck, dude.
Well, you know, the listening audience might really enjoy hearing that.
They
for
might.
Like 5 minutes.
Just to realize for like 5 minutes. Yeah, you're right, dude.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, just okay. Put Ryan back up there. Not, you know, but you can listen back. It's definitely after well over 100 episodes now. I know we're at 90 something, but we're well over with the
that's amazing.
The Sons of Anarchy ones.
Yeah, right.
Because we did 17 of those. They aren't numbered.
Right.
So technically we're 17 on top of whatever this particular number is. But that would be interesting. We might have to do that. Maybe a holiday special or something, dude.
Maybe we should have a training session first.
Yeah.
We can't just go cold on that one. Okay, your turn in the chair.
That's funny though. Because as long as they have good notes, I'll run all the, and I'll put the soundboard in front of them oh God. Try to get him to do all that, dude. That would be funny.
Yeah, it would be great.
We'd probably have to stop a few times.
Yeah, we should do that live. That
would be a good
live
one.
on Periscope or whatever. What's the other one?
The Blab. We could do it on Blab. Yeah, dude. Yeah. All right, so we got a badass episode for you guys. It is just me and Oscar in the house, and today we're going to talk here in a moment. We've got a really good email you guys will want to listen to, and then we're going to get into oils, guys. And we've done in the past. Do you remember what episode that was, dude?
Wow.
That we did Amsoil versus...
Was it like 34?
Harley Synthetic. Do I have it in the notes?
I don't think so. I didn't see it.
I think you're right. Let me look it up here. Let's type in Amsoil. And what I'm doing, guys, is just going to our website. On the upper right-hand corner of every page on LAB-95-Dynacycle is a search bar to help you. And I'm typing in Amsoil as we speak. And bada bing, bada bang. And we're a little slow because I'm running the Apple TV 26.
Wow.
LAWabidingbiker.com/26. That's Amsoil Synthetic versus Harley Davidson Synthetic. So you'll definitely want to listen to that. Very informational episode. And wow, that's taking it back, isn't it, Oscar? Can you believe?
Were we using like microphones and tin cans or something back then?
Right. I'm pretty sure we were using tin cans.
We were in the closet downstairs.
Yes.
Sweated our asses off.
Yeah, you're right.
That's amazing. Right. I can't believe it's been that many already.
We were definitely at least... I was out of the closet, but we were in the small office down there, and you were in a folding chair with a microphone shoved in your face, literally on a microphone stand, because there was no room in there, and everybody was like cramped up, like shoulder to shoulder, and we're all trying to do a podcast. But that was a move up from the closet. We were pretty happy with that setup.
That's right. I forgot you guys were actually in a closet.
Yes.
Because that room downstairs really looks like a closet.
Right. It is. It was meant to be an office, not a studio. And we started putting all that gear. Could you imagine trying to fit all this stuff in there now?
There's no way.
Especially all the film gear and lights and all that kind of stuff. It'd be crazy. That's what we're going to talk about today, guys, is, and I'm just going to throw it out there, it's Dyna Cycle oil. It's a semi-synthetic oil. And we'll get into that in a moment, but we tested this stuff. And we have experience with Amsoil. And now the company reached out to us. We did not contact them. And let me just save that. But real quick, I do want to say that this episode is sponsored by the following people, guys. They are making it happen so that you can all hear this around the world. And of course, these folks here.
Can I read these off my phablet?
Patrons, dude. Let's thank these patrons.
Yeah, this insanely huge phone I have.
Hey, right. Oh, yeah, you do. He's an iPhone 6 Plus
That's why I was trying to get, okay.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
Michael McVicker of Toledo, Ohio. Thank you very much, Michael. Louis Tank Bedoya of Fallbrook, California. And Matthew Burritts of Valley Center, California. And Matthew's a top tier patron.
Top tier, guys.
Thank you guys for your support.
Yeah, really, guys. Thanks for putting a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank so we can keep this thing heading on down the road. Love our patrons. Take action now. That's right. You driving? Pull over. Take action. That's right. You riding your bike? Your mountain bike. Nonetheless.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. You walking your dog. You on your lawn tractor, just pull over. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon. Patreon. Take action. We love it because it gives us a little insight and direction on what we can provide for you guys and how far we can take this thing. You are part of it. And I do consider you sponsors of the show. Of course, we do have a top tier there, and he gets access by name anytime he wants to any of our for purchase videos. Just has to ask us and we give him a free link. And of course, depending on how much you pledge per piece of content, you can get into that private Facebook group. Again, just head over to that URL, lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, and you can find out all the details over there. That Facebook group is growing. As we've explained in past episodes, it is a forum, and you can search for past conversations, and we all help each other. And you know who's, unlike forums out on the internet, we had a long conversation about that on a past episode. Not you, but Rick and I and Jake. And I won't get into that little tangent again, but I just don't like them. I don't know who's behind a lot of the information.
The forums?
They're link bait. A lot of them, they can be helpful, but you don't know who's behind it. In our private Facebook group, it's a Facebook. You know who the person is.
Right.
You know it's trustworthy. You know that they're there. it's moderated well. There's not links and advertisements everywhere like forums. I just think they're clunky. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I know you are on a lot of them.
Yeah, I read quite a few.
Yeah, on especially the Dodge pickup stuff you're on a lot.
The diesel one.
The diesel Dodge, right?
Yeah.
Or diesel, sorry.
Well, it's the Cummins forum.
Right.
Yeah.
And they all like everything. They're there to advertise to you. They got to support themselves,
Absolutely.
I get it. I just think our private Facebook group is well beyond that. But for us,
the beauty of the private Facebook page is someone can go directly to one of us and ask directly a question. A forum, like guys that ask a simple question, and you don't know who's pissed off that day because they had a bad day at work, and they read it and go, "You idiot!" And I've seen guys just go off, and I'm like, "Why do you?" This guy's new to this forum.
Why are you even answering questions if it makes you mad?
Exactly.
Don't do it.
Don't answer. If you don't like it, don't answer. Oh, look somewhere else. Search. The guy's like, so you can. So yeah, I get it. The Facebook page, not like that.
Dumb, dude. You're dumb.
Just straight up, that's probably what they say. Yeah, you're right.
I get
if it irritates you, then don't be on the forum. It's free.
You can get away from it. Yeah.
I mean, those guys that are doing that are doing it for free.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, you can pay. Some of them, like Cummins Forum, you can pay. There's a section where you can be a premium member.
And what do you get?
Then I haven't done it yet, but it gets closer to what our private Facebook page is.
Right.
There's forums in there that not anyone can access. And it starts to weed out a lot of that.
Gotcha. So ours is a forum. It's a paid by patrons, right?
Yeah. But they can follow us week to week,
right, and
get to know each other.
Right.
The forums aren't like that.
No, it's totally different. A forum. Ours is a forum. Plus, you get videos. Right. Plus, you get audio. Plus, you get The
videos we're doing are amazing.
Yeah.
The handlebar video. That's amazing to think. And let's do the email, dude. Because I read the email and I'm like,
oh yeah. Why don't you go ahead and go?
There was me. I'm gonna read this email from my ridiculously large phone.
This is a straight up mail we got in, guys.
Mail, yay!
That's right.
Wait a minute. This is from Woody Henderson of Arvada, Colorado. Woody says, just wanted to throw out kudos regarding your handlebar install video. I recently purchased and completed a 12-inch factory 47.
12
sorry,
inches.
Whoa. Handlebar install. So the brand there is Factory 47, I get. Handlebar install on my 2015 Road Glide Special. Install was completed in less than 4 hours. That's really good. And that included a trip to the hardware store, of course, for a few needed tools and a few stubborn attempts at pulling the wires. Harley Davidson had quoted me $1,200. With that, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time and effort in producing such an intuitive video, along with the service video that I also purchased. I laugh all the way to the bank with the savings I've gained not paying for outrageous hourly service charges. Amen, Woody. Amen to that.
Damn, Skippy. Thanks, Woody, for reaching out to us. lawabidingbiker.com/contact is how he did that. And head over to that page, guys. And so very, very awesome. And he's talking about our handlebar install video. Just head over to lawabidingbiker.com/Harley handlebars. And those are two of our higher end for purchase videos. And they are some of our best selling videos. And it doesn't matter if you have a touring bike with a fairing or a bike without a fairing. There's two different videos over on that page. And you can choose the one that best suits your needs. Both of them have multiple video files in there, different things depending on what your project is. But all the video files are included upon purchase. And we really appreciate the support, of course. If you do purchase those videos, that goes right back into law-abiding biker media, and we appreciate it so very much. Real quick announcement. I try to mention we have tons of stacks of videos I need to mention. Most of them are out. Look at this.
I know, that's
they just keep stacking, dude. But I try to drag one into each episode to mention it so that people listen to the podcast at least know it's out. I would, we will mention in the podcast, I would encourage you, all of you out there, to please just go to our YouTube channel, lawabidingbiker.com/YouTube, and subscribe. It really helps us. We're in talks with some companies and some sponsorship. We really want to see those subscriber numbers keep moving up. And also, you might probably find out about the videos that I put out, because like this one's been out. A lot of these have been out for like 8 months, but I'm just mentioning it now, but I try to cover it.
Sure.
So please, guys, if you can, that would be my call to action. If you can help us in any way, just hit up our YouTube channel and just hit that subscribe button. Even if you don't want notifications, you can turn off notifications. At least it shows us as a subscriber for us.
Right.
And that's why we're starting to get noticed, not only because we have like 2.1 million views on all of our videos, but we have, I think we're hitting 13,000 or something subscribers or something like that. And so we really just would appreciate you just hitting that little red subscribe button. The new video I want to tell you about is our new video release. It's an Indian oil change. That's right, guys. Mm-hmm.
New Indians are out.
The old Indian, dude, finally.
And it looks nice. It's a nice bike.
Yeah, because we got a lot of people that have contacted us wanting Indian videos.
Right.
We finally got one up on the lift, and we're actually have put out multiple videos, some free videos on our YouTube channel on the Indians, and what is it? The Indian Chief, Chieftain, and Roadmaster. And this particular is just like our Harley maintenance video. This is all about the Indian oil change maintenance and safety inspection. It's over at lawabidingbiker.com/Indian maintenance. All the details are over there. You can purchase the video. We appreciate the support. I know a lot of Indian owners have been awaiting this long coming video, and we're very happy that I got it done and I pushed it ahead of some other projects. So
right
there you go, guys. Don't be paying the Indian dealer just like the Harley dealer, just like the email we just read. Same thing. Indian's going to ding you for all that. And let me tell you, the Indian's actually easier than the Harley.
Wow. Oh yeah, because 2 holes.
Right.
Yeah.
A scavenge and a regular, and you know, there's some differences, and there's actually some tips and tricks in that video.
Cool.
That will save you a headache, like taking the side panels off and putting them back on. I mean, really, we found the right ways to do that. And there is some tricks, and we get in real close and show you the tricks to put the brake inspection panel on, really, because we were kind of getting a little frustrated. Lurch was like, okay, let's figure out the easiest way. And we would figure it out and go, that's the trick.
Right.
And then, of course, that's related in that video.
Awesome.
So, wow. Let's get right into our main topic. What do you think?
I'm pretty excited about oil and lubrication stuff.
It's all about the lube. As Lurch would say, if you love it, lube it. I know that's shout out to Lurch for that, dude.
I miss that little feller. You know,
I know.
Gosh darn it.
Y'all ready for this?
There we go. But yeah, you know, and we tease, this isn't really, I guess I'll let you explain it. It's not necessarily a face-off because there's some differences. So we're going to do a lot of comparisons in this episode. And so let me just set it up. And Dyna Cycle Oil reached out to us. They're a semi-synthetic oil. They reached out to us sometime months before we went to Sturgis 2015 here.
Yeah, like March, I think, of 15.
Yeah, they sent us an email and said, hey, they must have heard of us, which is cool. You know, that companies are reaching out. We had a couple recently that are reaching out to us, like I say, and they reached out to us and said, hey, they must have saw Amsoil stuff or something. And they said, hey, you want to try Dyna Cycle oil? And I says, well, yeah, I don't know much about it, but I do have an expert on hand. And that's, Oscar doesn't like me when I call him an expert. You guys know by now.
I'm not that smart, really, actually.
You guys know by now. He is our resident expert when it comes to tech stuff like this, because he's an Amsoil dealer and he knows a lot. And we will tell you that we are not going to be biased in this. We're telling you what our experiences are with Dyna Cycle oil. Just because he's an Amsoil dealer, I will tell you first off that Oscar is not that kind of guy. He actually was excited to try it, and he didn't bad talk it up front. Oscar's not like that. He goes, no, I don't know anything about it. I'm interested. And he did his research, and I tell you, he's the one that put it in his bike on the way to Sturgis. I mean, he stepped up to the plate, and he's got the, you know, all the data logging and all that with his power vision and all that. And he really was open-minded about it. He never bad talked it, never said, oh, this stuff's going to be junk compared to Amsoil. He really just likes running those tests and finding out the truth of these oils. And we're going to get into some of how you do that. We're going to get technical. We're going to try not to get too technical, because otherwise I'll faint, because Oscar can get really technical. Kind of like I can get technical about technology.
Right. I faint when that happens.
He can get technical about oil and specs and all that kind of stuff. So I just want everybody to know, because I know Dyna Cycle will probably listen to this too, that we went in this, I'm telling you, with an open mind, and we're not here to trash Dyna Cycle. We're not here to trash Amsoil. We're not here to trash anything. We're going to relay exactly what our findings were under our environments and in our testing. And that can vary a lot, guys, depending on how things are done. Oscar will get into that, but they did reach out to us. We appreciate it. They did. I said, sure. We were busy, but throw us some oil. And they threw us some oil. and it came. And why don't you take it from there, Oscar, and tell them, let's start from the beginning about what you were looking at and how you set up the tests before Sturgis and kind of what we did. And then I'll fill in the blanks and ask questions when I'm confused.
Sure. It actually worked out really well because Chewy's bike and mine.
I don't care.
Sorry. I'm throwing that in on everybody now. No, that's the William Crum thing. Those are permanent sound bites. He ran the motorcyclist off the road episode.
That's right.
Yeah, those are sound bites from him, dude. This one.
I hated that guy.
Yeah, so when we did that episode, I had all these sound bites. So they're kind of evergreen because I don't care who you are. That shit's funny when you're talking and I just go,
I don't care.
Because it totally throws you off and it screws.
It'll be funny until I come across that computer.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. Just come across here and
all there's
just all right, I'll leave you alone. Go ahead.
Chewy's bike and mine were pretty close. They're both 13s. They're both touring bikes, same motors, all that's set up. His is a Street Glide, mine's an Ultra. So I mean,
the 103s.
They're all 103s. They're the basic 103, not the high output like you have. Before he crashed, they had similar mileage.
Before Chewy crashed?
Before Chewy crashed in the spring, they had similar mileage. So it was before that. So it was before the spring ride that Dyna Cycle had gotten with us. So it had to have been like March or February.
Okay.
So it was perfect to take two very similar bikes. Chewy and I aren't that far apart in size with us and our spouses and gear. The bikes would have been pretty close. I mean, as far as weight and stuff goes.
Right.
And we were going on an identical trip. We were going to be riding almost identical mileage. Once we got to Sturgis, there might have been a 30-mile trip here or something like that.
Right.
But overall, we're going to ride the trip together, which means we're taking the bikes through the same conditions, at the same speeds, on the same roads, in the same temperatures. So it's perfect to test two oils against each other.
Amsoil and Dyna Cycle.
So that was the plan.
So if people are testing oil, that's fair to say. They want to make sure if you're running those tests in two different bikes that you're doing it in try to do it in exact environments, loads, I guess. Yeah. So this is where I'm going to come in and ask the questions.
Here's the deal about that. And I did a lot of thinking about that because there was a last minute change of plans where we Chewy's spouse couldn't go.
Right.
So I started thinking, okay.
She was home with me.
Right. Right. I'm not going to tell him you said that. He might hear it on the podcast.
Sorry, Chewy. I can hear him from here, dude.
He sometimes
gets angry. That's all the way from about 50 miles away.
He's on the new set right now, finishing the second movie, so don't bother him.
Yeah, you're right. Good call.
So I was like, oh man, but there's kind of two ways to test stuff. There's the true scientific method, which is holding variables constant except for the one you want to manipulate. And then there's more like from a consumer standpoint, which is, or more of a field standpoint, which is there's different variables. We're going to try and keep some things similar, but knowing we can't hold every variable completely constant from a consumer standpoint is probably a better way to go. So I realized the test isn't shot. I started researching a little bit, like how much is I don't know how much Dustin's spouse weighs, but how much is 120 pound?
Right. She's little. Yeah.
Yeah. She's pretty little, but so how much is 100 pounds going to matter here or there in all reality?
Right.
And so
some guys get anal about that. So, and I'm with you. I think, come on.
Really?
Yeah.
And so
we're not racing these bikes.
Right. In this true scientific method, then that would matter because it's an uncontrolled variable, sort of.
Right.
So what I'm going to say is both Dyna Cycle and Amsoil have done their own tests, more true to the scientific method.
Okay.
Amsoil's done a shitload of tests. I mean, they've taken two semis with the same mileage. I mean, it's insane. And Dyna Cycle's done some testing as well. So I started realizing, hey, from a consumer standpoint, we're in pretty good shape.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to compare these realistically in the field. So it's the mileage and temperature and all that the same. The speeds we were going the same. The riding, it was all pretty similar. We're just minus a passenger, which is not a big deal.
Right.
And then gear was pretty close, and we probably each had 30, maybe 50 pounds of gear. So it was set up pretty well. And then I had the chance to do some temperature testing with my Power Vision. So I actually did some rides with my wife before we went to Sturgis with the Amsoil on my bike. And I did data collection with the Power Vision, temperature-wise. And so I noted kind of what temperature was and that kind of thing. And I took like 6 samples. I did the same thing with the Dyna Cycle and my bike on the Sturgis ride.
Stop there. You took samples.
Data samples.
You got to explain this to people.
So the Power Vision allows you to data log
right.
Parameters from the bike, including engine temperature and RPM and all that stuff. And then it puts it into a huge spreadsheet, and it takes it by the millisecond. So like a 10-minute data collection produces thousands of data points. It's huge. And I don't even remember off the top of my head all the data points it collects, but engine temperatures in there, intake air temperatures in there. There's all kinds of stuff. So
that's what you mean by a sample?
A sample.
Because
right.
I was thinking physical sample. I was like, we're way ahead of me.
No.
Okay.
A data sample. So I'd hit the start log button, and and then it shows you how many megabytes the sample size is. So I went to about 1.5 megabytes for each sample size. So I said, okay, it's 95 degrees out. We're going to be on the highway. Bink. And I kind of kept track in my head of the conditions. The only difference was on the Sturgis ride, I did not do an in-city data collection. I did one in-city data collection in Yakima when it was really hot, just to get a baseline, because I didn't know if we were going to be doing a lot of city riding in Sturgis or not.
Right.
So not only are we going to test the oils against each other, I was able to test the two oils in my bike against each other as far as temperature goes, because both Amsoil and Dyna Cycle claim their oils reduce engine temperature.
Right.
And reduce engine temperatures, the greatest thing in the world. It's like better.
Right, with just oil. I mean, not just oil, but yeah.
Right.
And so let me set this up. So we got Chewy with Amsoil in his bike, same bike, same motor. And we've got both of you going to Sturgis. Of course, I'm going to, but
yeah.
You're on your way to Sturgis. Right. So we're running two different oils in the same bikes in the same environment. The variable is Chewy's minus a passenger, so we're minus about 125 pounds. There's somewhere around there.
Yeah, something like that.
What if we said Chewy's minus 300 pounds?
Whoa.
Leah, if she listens, we're teasing.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
She's not 300 pounds. She's actually a little tiny cow.
Yeah, she's like 250 or something.
Right, 253, something, yeah.
She's pretty small.
So that's what we're doing now. And so you're on your way to Sturgis. And, I'm somewhere near you with a GoPro on. You're trying to test oil and I'm trying to take video. We always got shit, don't we?
It was.
Our group is testing shit and video shit and
all the time.
Yeah.
Before we went, was it 2 or 3 days? We came here.
Right.
So Chewy and I met up and we rode here. Let me back up. Minus the rider, Chewy missed out on about 4,000 miles of riding this summer when his bike was down. So mine picked up an extra 4,000. I'm saying, you know what? That's moot. We're not talking about a bike with 120,000 and a bike with 60,000. We're talking about two bikes in the teens to 20s.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Right.
I don't really care. That kind of mileage difference is not a big deal to me. But in the true scientific method, that would be.
Right. If you were doing a sterile type.
A lab environment test.
Exact.
It would
gears came out of the exact, and got put in and whatever. Yeah.
And if we have time, we'll get to why
this is real life shit right here.
And
this is real life.
Exactly. Yeah. From a consumer standpoint.
Correct. From a consumer standpoint.
Not necessarily lab standpoint. So we came here, the bikes are up to operating temperature. We changed all the fluids. Now Chewy's bike only had like 1,000 miles on the fluid. And so we did not change his transmission or primary because it was like brand new. I changed it this spring. Right. And then we did a couple of rides and then crashed and the bike was down and then he got it back. Nothing in the crash. There was nothing in the crash that suggested it hurt the motor tranny or anything like that.
No, he's riding it. Frame.
Yeah.
New frame.
Yep. And it was fine. So in my bike, Chewy's bike got Amsoil in the motor, Amsoil in the tranny, Amsoil in the primary, all the 2050 and a new filter. My bike got the Dyna Cycle in the motor, and the brand new Amsoil in the transmission and primary and an Amsoil filter. Okay. So both bikes, all the fluids were relatively new.
Right.
And we changed Chewy's motor oil, even though it was really new. It looked really good. Looked brand new coming out.
No, I know we did, but we had to.
Yeah. So
we're doing it for the people, the listeners.
Yep.
We're doing it to test it for the people.
And that's a big deal because a lot of people ask me which oil is better than this or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to tell you, by learning what we did, you'll be able to do some of this stuff and judge for yourself.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Good call.
So then here we go. So like Dyna Cycle's website shows their testing. They put a bike on a dyno and they put Dyna Cycle in it. And then they ran it on a dyno under certain conditions, and it shows that Dyna Cycle versus Amsoil or versus Harley, or I think they use Redline too, produce more horsepower. So they used a dynamometer to run their bikes to show their tests that their oil, that was their test, is using a dynamometer to show that the Dyna Cycle was effective. Amsoil, not so much with their motorcycle oils, but with almost every car oil and diesel oil they have, they've done a little bit more extensive testing. So both of them have done their tests. So I thought, well, how are we really going to test this? I can't tell. My bike's not practically in some of Dynacycle's tests, the Dynacycle bike picked up 1.5 horse. I can't tell 1.5 horse. A dynamometer can, but I can't. I'm riding down the road. I don't know if there's 1.5 horse better or not.
Right. Yeah.
And temperature and cooling, it did the bike run hotter or colder. The only way to truly replicate that, and Dynacycle did, and so is Amsoil, is in a lab where you can say it's 70 degrees all the time. And even then, from day to day, hour to hour, things change. It's really hard to do. So I was like, well, because temperature's not really that effective.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I thought we're going to do a used oil analysis. So I want to just talk about this real quick because it may be new for a lot of the listeners.
Well, I'm sure it was new for me, dude.
Right.
It was completely new for me. I've learned a ton more than I thought I would ever know about. I did not know you could even send oil to labs. Dude, I just oblivious to it. Never done it.
It's total geekdom. I love it. I absolutely love it. It makes me an egghead.
Straight up.
And I'm going to plug a website right now. We don't normally do that. And I've never reached out to these guys, but it's called Bob is the Oil Guy. So if you guys want to learn about used oil analysis, that website, it's actually it's a website forum.
Okay.
Whoever this guy is has actually done a really good job of explaining what a used oil analysis is, and then what
people like me,
right? You'd be surprised. And then what the things in the used oil analysis are. So what it means if you have high aluminum numbers.
What's it called? Bob's what?
Bob is the oil guy.
Go ahead.
The reason I know that his stuff is accurate is because Amsoil's dealer zone has a motor oil for dummies thing in it.
Right.
And it talks all about what total base number is. And the stuff in Amsoil's training series was like spot on with what I found in there. Not in the forums, but on the additional reading side there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff in there. So it can get really complicated. We don't have time today to go through all that. That's why I plug this website. The forums are forums. They're usual forums, but and the guy's obviously a Pennzoil guy.
Apparently, because he's got a huge pen. How much is Pennzoil paying him to put that banner right?
And he's got a big deal with Banks. But anyway.
With what?
Banks is a diesel thing.
Oh, okay.
Diesel performance stuff. But, okay, so when I was doing this research, I'm like, we're going to use used oil analysis. And so it's I am kind of research geek minded. And I was like, I don't want to use Amsoil's lab. Not because it's not a good lab. Because I don't want anyone to say, oh, Amsoil came out better because you used the Amsoil.
Right. See, that's what I want to tell people, how fair you were. You're like, you were talking to me about all this. I'm like, dude,
whatever.
You're like one of the fairest guys. No, you know, I know you're not going to, but you didn't want to make it look biased. I appreciate that. If we're going to do a test, we're going to do it right.
And we should. And so I was reading forums. I read Cummins forum and the HD forums. There's a bunch of them. And Bob's the Oil Guy. The one lab that came out on top all the time, Blackstone Labs. And they just showed up over and over and over. And I read, there's like on Bob is the Oil Guy, there's a place where you can read used oil analysis for your particular vehicle or whatever. And I like how they, and people will be able to see them on, once this hits, we're going to put those right. So people can read the oil analysis from.
If that's what you would like me to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kind of, I'll do the blog, article, however you want. And so it'll be lawabidingbiker.com/ in the episode number, whatever episode this number is. It'll be there, and you want me to put the PDFs there?
Yeah, we should.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put the PDFs. You can download them, look at them yourself.
And so you can see how Blackstone presents the information. And it's kind of cool because they, in the very top, there's a little paragraph, and it's like the lab guy going, "Hey, your bike's running great. You know what? Whatever you're doing is great. Your bike's great. Keep doing what you're doing." Or, dude.
Right.
You know, you got a lot of aluminum and a lot of iron, and there's some wear.
A lot of what? Aluminum?
Aluminum and
aluminium.
Iron.
That's aluminium.
It's actually alumum.
Aluminium.
Minium is one extra I. Oh yeah, it is.
Go ahead.
I don't even know if you can spell.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Typical. So you'll be able to read. These guys will be able to read the UOAs. I'll call it a UOA, used oil analysis, from our test. You'll see what they said about my bike with the Amsoil and with the Dyna Cycle. You can see what it says about Chewy's bike, Amsoil pre and Amsoil post Sturgis, and you'll see how it's laid out.
Slow down there. So that's what I'm interested in is pre. So
right.
Did you send them so Blackstone's Labs, guys, is independent. Obviously, you have to pay them. Talk about that a little bit. They send you a kit and all that.
They do, and
then, but you send them oil. Sorry, it's probably a 3-pronged question, but to give the audience, I want to make sure they understand what we're talking about. They don't know what you're sending them. They have no idea what the samples are, right?
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So they absolutely, people love Blackstone. They come out on top. Their customer service is great. And I was like, I keep reading this over and over and over. So I'm like, we're using Blackstone. And so it's pretty easy. Some of the labs do it differently. Blackstone will send you the kits. So they send you a little jug. And inside the jug's a little bottle and a little foam thing in case it leaks to soak up the oil. And then they send you a little card and you fill out the card. And the card has like make, model, vehicle, how many miles are on it, and this kind of stuff. It's pretty self-explanatory. Includes a spot to include your name, your address, your phone number, and your email. And then you can choose to either put your credit card or debit card or whatever on that little sheet, or you can get on the website, or you can call them. So it's pretty easy. And it's a family-run business. Give a shout out to Kristen Huff. I email them back and forth with her. She's one now. Her and her brother, I think, are the owners. Her dad started it, and they do not just oil analysis for cars and bikes, but they do fluid analysis for industrial applications over the entire world. So I emailed her one day, and she said, and I was asking her some of these questions, and she said, "Yeah, we've got a guy from like Vietnam coming in with some stuff. We're going to do some analysis for industrial equipment for him." The other thing I really like about Blackstone, and I'm not speaking for any other lab, but so when Blackstone does analysis, they start a file on that vehicle or that oil. So not only do I have a file on my bike now that they'll refer back to, but if new stuff pops up, new oils or whatever, they'll start a file on that oil. So when they send you the analysis back, it shows numbers for certain things, like we'll say aluminum, 17 parts per million. And there'll be another column that says universal averages. So the universal average for my bike using Amsoil for aluminum is whatever. And that's how they judge whether or not there are problems.
Okay.
They're looking at your bike versus other bikes and what other bikes are showing, that kind of thing. So that's awesome, because it's not
awesome.
Some lab created, some engineer somewhere said, "Oh, this bike should have this." They're actually taking real world data and comparing your bike to other bikes.
Right.
Which means, oh yeah, your bike's running like other bikes should, which is the best way to judge.
Right.
And that's how like medicine was born.
Right.
And that's how the DSM was born. That's how we determined if we're crazy. 9,000 people answered this question this way, and one answered another way.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So their universal averages that they show you, that they give you, are born of all these samples, which is awesome. So they test fluids. Did they start a file on the fluids I sent them? Because it was not. I think
oil.
The FBI has that file because it's interstate commerce. And maybe the Secret Service.
Those fluids were not oil. And I just was checking something because I've been having a burning feeling
Good thing
up on urination. And so and some redness. And so I sent it. And they have not got back to me.
Good thing they sent you the 1/3 of an ounce container, because
are they testing me against other males?
Right. Other males. That's what you call
that. It's completely inappropriate.
I can't believe you'd say something like that.
All right. Sorry. And I probably threw you off track, dude.
For crying out loud. I'm pretty much going to bed.
But they are, I can tell, professional, and that's cool. That they're starting a file, for you and testing it like that, like you say, in a real world type application, and what's normal and what's not normal. You know what I mean?
Couldn't ask for anything better.
And testing aluminium levels.
And
that's how people in the other parts of the world say it, son.
There's no extra I. It's aluminum. There's only one I.
I know, but that's how they say it, aluminium.
I have no idea where you come from.
Go ahead.
So they'll ship you a kit for free, or kits, however many you want. And then you pay.
They send them for free. You pay to send them back, right?
You pay to do the analysis. I think it was $25. If you want the total base number, you add $10. It was $35, and that's pretty close to the industry standard price. So
okay,
a pretty good price,
right?
Super quick turnaround. I had stuff. I think like third day or something from UPS. I sent him 4 samples.
Okay.
And then I think within a week and a half.
2 pre, 2 after.
Right.
Yes.
I think within a week and a half, I got an email with my with all the stuff in it. So
that's quick. Yeah.
It was really good. They were really easy to work with. I'll continue to work with them. And so knowing that, like a blood test.
A fluids test.
A fluids test, as it were. I don't really, that's kind of gross. It's hurt my head a little bit. If we were going to do a post test and determine wear metals and all that kind of stuff, we'd want to know whether there was a problem. So we also did a pre-sample. So when we did the oil change before we left, I took samples from each bike, an oil sample.
I'm only asking dumb questions because people are going to be asking. I know,
I get a little ahead of myself.
So you took samples so you dumped a bunch of new Dyna Cycle in your bike and new Amsoil and Chewy's bike, and then you just took a sample of that oil?
No. When we were doing
these are the questions.
You're right.
That's why
when we were doing the oil change, when I was draining the old oil out of both bikes, I took a sample of the old oil.
Very nice.
2 Amsoil in each. And then when we were done with the Sturgis ride, I sucked out a sample.
Yeah.
So there's 2 ways to do it. You can suck it out with a pump, or you can pull the drain plug as you're changing the oil and take a sample.
I'm not saying nothing.
I know. I ramble on and on.
When you're talking, sucking it out, you can't even keep a straight face over there because you know I'm going to say something. All right.
I forgot you were over
What do
there.
you suck it out with?
Whatever you want.
What did you use?
I used a pump. So I pumped it out.
What kind of pump, dude? Like a turkey baster thing?
No, a pump.
I never got to see you do this.
Oh, I have a pump.
I'm being serious. I mean, I'm being funny, but I'm being serious too.
I have a pump that goes on the Amsoil bottles for gear oil. To get it gear oil into a differential, you have to usually pump it in.
Oh, yeah. No shit. I have one of those. Okay.
Yeah. That's all I used.
Oh,
So I
like a gear oil pump.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a gear oil pump, just, for gear oil.
Right.
But I used it for something else.
For something else.
Oh,
Gotcha.
yeah, totally flexible.
Gotcha.
But I degreased them and cleaned it after, so it was clean and,
Because some people, well, let's talk about that, because some people would argue that something got mixed up. And this is how, I just want people out there to know.
True. That's true. And
Oscar's playing this down because he's trying to, and that's good because he's trying to keep it simple, stupid for me. But I'm telling you, talking to Oscar, oil people are freaks.
Yeah,
I'll publicly say oil people are freaks. You're all freaks, all of you oil people, including Amsoil, including Dyna Cycle. You're a bunch of freaks, and God bless you because you enjoy what you do. And I'm a freak because I do video and podcast and audio editing and video editing. But I'm telling you, no joke aside, these people take. If you look at some of the forums, if you do, or you look at some literature that Oscar shared with me, this shit they'll go to blows over this shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
About, the reason your test was different because you didn't clean your gear oil pump when you pumped the oil. I mean, it gets down to, the walls were blue and not white. And white puts out cooler ambient temperature than blue. I mean, seriously, it gets out of control. Bad, guys. It is that bad.
It is.
So Oscar tried to keep it real, but I just wanted the audience to know this is a no joke. If you want to take some time and go look at some of the stuff, you're going to be like, how I appreciate oil and I appreciate that it makes my motorcycle motor not seize. Past that, and I appreciate Amsoil because obviously I know Oscar and I definitely have talked in episode 26 that I do notice shifting smoother and, some real world, tangible, easy things for me. And I like it that I don't have to change my oil as often.
Right.
Those are things that but this, how much aluminium, I love saying aluminium, how much aluminum and this and that. So go there. So you pumped it out. And that's why Oscar makes little comments like that. I pick them up, but you might not. He said, well, it was clean. And he kind of brushes over it because he just wants the word out there. So the people that do understand what he's saying out there know that he used a clean gear oil pump.
I did. And I went to great pains to clean and degrease.
Right.
The hours to clean and degrease these. Anyway.
Degreased his penis pump at the same time.
Hey. Come on, man.
Sorry.
I had to use what I had. And then bigger volume, because it's like this bigger. Oh, people can't see that. Right? So I could get more oil out at once, if that's what you want to call it.
Right.
So we collected the samples of fluid. They were black, not whatever sample you sent in.
This is just...
It started to degrade rapidly.
Yeah.
So I collected the samples. Some of them, so I'll get into the craziness a little bit because it's important to have the bikes at operating temperature when you collect the samples, either out of the drain. So if you pull it out of the drain plug, and this is what I did, you wait a couple of seconds and then take the sample because all that crap settles to the bottom. So you're not changing your oil when the bike's running. The bike's going to sit for 10 minutes or something because it's hot. In the meantime, stuff starts to settle at the bottom of the pan. So when you pull the drain plug, you wait 1001, 1002, and then stick.
This is the standard, isn't it?
No, it's just common sense and
common knowledge among oil freaks.
Weird, freaky
among oil freaks, right?
And so then, but anyway, so that the oil's at the operating temperature. So when I pumped it out, Chewy had ridden his bike around, and then he rode down. And the same with mine. I rode mine on for I think I brought it over here and then went back home. And then I pumped the Dynacycle out. So took the 4 samples and then I sent them off to Blackstone, had it back. Excuse me. And then you guys will see, you'll be able to read the results. And so what, I guess
we'll talk about some of those.
Yeah.
I mean, in broad sense.
Sure. So, the sample of the Amsoil pre-Sturgis ride that came out of my bike, Blackstone says now, and you may get labs that
do you need me to pull those up or not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. They're fine.
Which one of these do you want?
Well, the problem there is they are, not numbered well.
Oh, okay.
So
on here,
yeah,
it's just how I drug them in there. It's naming them by file name.
Right. None of them are very good that way.
Okay.
I didn't name them and I should have. Actually, I think I renamed them later.
Like in 1, 2, 3, so you knew they were in order.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the things I did so that if all else got foobarred, as soon as the sample came out of the bike in the little bottle, I put on the white lid, either J1, D1, J2, D2. So if I screwed up filling out the form or anything else, Blackstone could do nothing else but put sample J1 and then analyze it. And when they sent me the thing, if they just sent back J1.
Which apparently meant something to you.
It did.
Okay,
right. It did.
Right.
It did. And they actually did that. I put notes, and there's a little spot for notes. I put J1 or D1 or whatever.
Nice.
So if anything got screwed up.
Oh, because Justin won. Dustin won. Look at, I broke the freaking code, dude.
You are
I just broke the
total
code.
geek. Your head just egg-shaped a little bit.
Oh my God,
you're going to have to get a bigger hat.
I broke the code. And I bet J1 was pre-sample and J2 was after.
Holy
D1
shit.
was pre-sample, D2 for Dustin. Oh my God, dude.
You have been listening and paying attention.
Wow.
Not only that, but you're able to deduce.
I did break the code.
I made you smarter. That's pretty much my fee. So Blackstone says for my
here's J1 up here here.
J1 pre-Sturgis ride, Amsoil had almost 5,000 miles on it. 4632. And they said so the thing I noticed about all the Amsoil samples is the viscosity was kind of high. It's not really that critical. If it wasn't high enough to be crucial, but that was a consistent weird thing. And one of the things that can cause a viscosity increase is heat. Now, we know this summer was freaking hot.
Yeah. And
so,
in Sturgis, it was 100 plus.
It was hot. And
we were running at 90 miles an hour and our bikes were hot.
Very hot. So that's what I attribute that to. And it wasn't too far out of spec for being a little thicker. So it wasn't a big deal. So they told me, so all right, let me back up. I guess what I'm looking for are really 2 things, total base number and viscosity. So the total base number is a measure of how well the oil can fight acid, because the acid buildup is probably one of the biggest things that destroys the oil, blah, blah, blah. You guys can read Bob's Oil Gun.
That's good. Good stuff. See,
figure that stuff out.
That's good stuff.
Total base number is not linear in degradation. So it doesn't start at 12 and go to 0 over time in miles. It could go from 12 to 5 in 200 miles and then go 10,000 miles and go from 5 to 3.
Interesting.
So one of the reasons why people do oil analysis is to ensure that the oil is still in good shape and that the total base number is high. So I had 4,600 miles on that Amsoil sample out of my bike. The total base number was still 6.3, which is really high for an oil with almost 5,000 miles on it.
High in what? Good?
High and good. Yes, high.
That's good.
High.
Right.
Yeah, the higher the number, better. Below 2, they're like, change it.
Okay.
It's just about done. Below 1 is like done.
Roger.
So what'd they tell me? And so I changed the oil. So they're not going to tell me go another 2,000 or 3,000 miles. But on Chewy's, when we got back from Sturgis, I think they said, hey, your oil is good for another couple thousand miles or whatever.
Okay.
Which is conservative.
Blackstone told him this.
Yes.
Right.
So if you sample and not oil change, they'll tell you how far they think you should go before doing another sample.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. So I'm going to continue this on because, you have a 6-quart sump, but how much is a Harley oil change? What, $100 for Amsoil is what I generally am charging.
Right. For our product, we do the oil change ourselves.
Right.
Of course, with the law-abiding biker maintenance video.
Right.
Lawabidingbiker.com/maintenance, Harley maintenance.
I don't use it anymore because I'd used it 400 times or whatever. But
right,
just
we kind of know now. Yeah,
just for the product. So So if I go, I don't know, 7,500 miles on my Amsoil, and I'm like, I wonder where it's at. $35. If they come back and tell me the oil's good for another 2 or 3 or 4,000, that's $35 is cheaper than $100.
So that's crazy.
Yeah,
because I never knew that existed.
Yeah, right.
I just, like everybody, I just guessed it.
And
that's crazy. I wonder how many. That's a whole nother subject.
It is.
How many bikers are actually using that to go, how much can I get out of my oil? I'm going to send a sample off to see if they'll tell me I can go another 4,000.
Right. And with
it's cool.
It is. What's actually kind of funny is for bikes, because it may not always be cost effective, but if you run into especially a warranty problem where there's a problem with your motor and you think you're getting screwed around, tell the mechanic, hey, I want an oil sample. I'll bring you the box. I want to see you pull it. I'm going to take an oil sample. I'm going to send it to Blackstone. And they're going to tell me about the engine via the oil. And then I'm going to go, hey, BS, my top end's not destroyed. Or BS, I don't have piston wear. You guys are screwing with me. And so for a lot of bikers
that's
aren't using
awesome.
But and with your cars too, the mechanic's telling your motor shot. Really? Let's pull an engine oil sample.
Right. Let's back up what you're saying.
Exactly.
And I'm good with that as if you can back it up.
And for $35 versus a $8,000 diesel motor in my pickup, hey, I'm all for it. Amsoil thus far is the only one that says, hey, this is how far our oil goes for motorcycles, twice their manufacturer's recommendation. In their car, like my diesel pickup, the oil I'm using says 3 times the manufacturer's recommendation, so 21,000 miles or farther with oil analysis. So my diesel pickup cost me like $150
for 21,000 miles.
So if I go 21,000 miles on it, and then I send a sample to Blackstone, and they say, hey, you're good for another 7,000.
What's $150 to test it?
No, to change it.
To change it, right.
$35 to test anything.
Right.
Well,
okay.
the different things. There's different tests that cost more, but so I may be able to get 30,000 out of an oil change. So instead of $150, I've started. So it can be very cost effective, and a lot of guys with semis use it because
they've got because they're long haul, and that's money. Time is money, and they don't want to be dumping good oil and
30 quarts at that.
Yeah.
So oil changes are expensive. So it is.
Wow. See, this is a whole. It's cool. It's cool,
and it's not big in the biker world because guys go, it's only 6 quarts or whatever, 4 quarts, but
it's $100 a pop.
It can save you some money, especially if you're doing 5,000 mile oil changes. Now, here's the caveat. If your bike's under warranty, that you add another company in there that's can kind of make it goofy. So if you're trying to extend your oil, and we got into this before, I don't want to get into too much.
Right.
I'm just going to tell you this. If you do like I do and you try to extend your oil usage, can they deny your warranty? Yes. Doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean that you won't fight them and win. Can they do it? Sure.
Right.
They can just deny your warranty because.
Right.
Hey, you didn't use
I mean, anybody can do that for any reason.
And BMW just got sued and lost because they were trying to get around the Magnuson Moss Warranty Act, and Amsoil helped. I don't know if they helped or if they were part of it. But a guy sued BMW motorcycles, and BMW lost in federal court because they said, no, Magnuson Moss is pretty clear. Right. Okay, anyway, so.
And Magnuson Moss, guys, just real brief, we talked about in our Amsoil episode, but that's where doing your own maintenance and all that, the Magnuson Moss Warranty Act says you can do your own maintenance. You do not have to have it done at the dealership. We talk about that in all our videos. This is separate from that.
Yep. And so anyway,
this is oil, extending oil. But if you're just doing your regular oil change every 5,000 like the book says, then you're fine because you would never have to worry about it because that's what the book says.
Right.
And doing your own maintenance does not void your warranty. They cannot and do not do that. In fact, the dealerships will tell you that it's okay to do your own. Just save your receipts is what they say for your product.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We've hit on that many times in the past, but I wanted to make sure.
But it's someone new listening today.
Listeners, to kind of give you some context to that. Yeah.
So used oil analysis, even for bikes with a 4-quart sump, can be a very valuable tool. Not only if you're making a warranty challenge, and it's also kind of like a blood test for your bike.
Right. Yeah. The good analogy.
It's cool.
Nice
to be able to go. Blackstone's going, hey, your bike's running great.
Well done, Oscar. Nice analogy.
You use it.
Kind of like a sperm sample. Yep.
I don't know about
That's what you said. That's what you said. Go ahead.
You are so wrong. So that was my bike pre. And Chewy's bike pre. Didn't really have many miles on it. It was kind of a waste. We did it anyway. Everything was fine. Chewy's bike came back after Sturgis. Everything looked good. The viscosity was high. I have no idea. It could be just a batch run because I order, group in groups. So I'm getting batches, I'm sure. I might order 4, 5, 6 gallons at a time. Probably came out of the same batch.
Right.
So it could have been a batch that was off, but the viscosity was high, but it wasn't outrageously high.
Right. Nothing that's going to matter.
Nah.
Right.
No, especially in the heat, and then in the heat that we were riding in.
Right.
No one cares. Everything else looked good. So the post with the Dyna Cycle kind of caught me off guard. I actually was expecting the Dyna Cycle to turn out really good.
Right.
I when I degreased the pump after the Dyna Cycle, the shit just clung to everything. It took me forever to degrease. It was just sticky, and it just clung to everything. So I thought, well, if it clings to the plastic pump, maybe it's clinging to the internals and the metal, which is kind of what you want. You don't want oil to slosh off and drip away. You want it to stay for a period of time. So I got it back from Blackstone, and I was going to run the Dyna Cycle out and change it sometime next year and sample it again and see how it was. Mm-hmm. And it came the sample came back from Blackstone that I had some high wear metals. You guys can look at it yourself. You'll see the analysis and see what Blackstone says. And they recommended changing the oil now. Now meaning when I got the analysis back.
Right. And
so I was like, that's not good. Considering the sample before, they said, your bike looks fantastic.
Right.
So something happened. I don't know. So from a consumer standpoint, so I emailed Dyna Cycle and I asked Mike. He was pretty good by getting back and forth to us.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Mike.
Had some questions for him. Most of them, he didn't answer just one, and I think he just missed it. So it's not a big deal. He said, yeah, it could be some wear metals, and he wanted to look at it. Their oil came back with pretty high total base number, 5.3. We went about 2,800 miles on the Dyna Cycle sample.
Okay.
So,
good.
5.3 is pretty high. It's still pretty good.
Because like you say, with the degradation, that can stick at 5 for a long time.
It could be at 5 for a long time.
See, I learn as I go.
I know. Hey, that's amazing. I'm gonna tell your wife, you do listen.
When I say degradation in aluminium, it makes me sound smart.
It makes you look taller too.
Doubt that. Not much can do that. High heels.
So one of the things, to be fair to Dyna Cycle and Amsoil, was Amsoil's warranty. And they say if you use our oil and if you use our filter and you follow our recommendations, and there's a couple of little caveats, and something happens to your motor, we'll warranty it. And all they ask is that you send them a sample of the oil. Right. Not a big deal.
So they can see.
So they can see, and that's exactly it.
Right.
So I asked him about that, and
you asked Mike at Dyna Cycle about that, yeah.
And so the response I got was that oil-related failures are far less than 1%, which is true. They're very rare.
Correct.
It's usually people that don't ever change their oil.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't really say yay or nay.
Right.
He just said that's tough. And
yeah, but so basically, to me, let me clean that up. They don't do it. Well, or they would have a policy on their website. Amsoil freely admits that they'll do that. That's public knowledge.
It is.
Where with them, they're not really.
It's not public.
I looked all over their site. It doesn't say they'll do that. So that's fair. That's
fair enough. And that's why I emailed them.
Right.
And he basically said, of course, in the end, if the oil failed, we would cover it. But
it's not a standing policy.
But it's not. Yeah. So, and it is. It's tough to prove that.
Correct.
So I want to be fair that way. One of the things that I don't. So I asked him about oil change intervals because Amsoil very, very clearly says twice the manufacturer's recommendation.
Correct.
Or 1 year. So I asked Mike, and he said you would look at, because on their website, Dyna Cycle's website, it says you could more than double. It's pretty vague. Doesn't really say specifically. So I asked him, hey, how would I know when to change the oil? He says you'd look at the manufacturer's oil change interval, OCI, and double it and he says I would place that about 10,000 miles with some top offs. Depending on the bike and the riding environment, there's not an exact range for everyone. However, we recommend following the motorcycle manufacturer's service intervals in the owner's manual. So I'm like, so that doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Because we're riding what I call consumer-based motorcycles.
Correct.
We're not running race bikes. We're not racing them.
Right.
We're not running bikes at 6,200.
That's arguable sometimes.
Well, right.
No, we're right.
Yeah. Well, sometimes how Robbie rides. We're riding consumer-based bikes. We're not doing super high compression. We're not doing high lift or race spring cams and all that stuff. We're just riding bikes. I know. Yeah. It makes me a little... I got to go in the other room for a minute. And we're riding legally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not
Right.
the racetrack. We're not doing 1/4 mile drags and all that kind of stuff. So then I was like, I got in my manual. There's no extreme service schedule in the manual for bikes like there is for your truck. For my truck, it says if you pull or drive in the dust and in the
Right.
you got to change your oil this often. But if you just drive it like a Prius, you got to change it this often.
Mm-hmm.
Bikes are by definition extreme service. So there's nothing in my Harley manual that says anything but go 5,000 miles on the Harley oil. And there's nothing in Amsoil's deal that says go anything but 10,000 miles.
Right.
That's just it. So Mike got back to me and his answer was a little confusing. And so maybe he'll email us or something and to clarify. But how would you know based on your riding style? As a consumer, I want to get on my bike and ride it.
Right.
And Harley set my...
Basically, that's leaving a huge gray area.
It really is.
For a biker. How do you
know?
Basically you're telling me it can go farther, but don't do it? Oh, and,
or it can go farther, but if you run a little hard here, but not, I don't know.
Right.
And Harley put a second seat on my bike and freaking bags on it. So I'm assuming they designed it for me to fill that shit up.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like our Sturgis trip.
Yeah.
So do I change the oil? Is it not double because I have a passenger and full bag?
Right.
Whatever.
It's too ambiguous.
It really is. So maybe they'll revise that, or maybe there's something, I don't know. But from a consumer standpoint already, I was like, something. Because he asked me, or Blackstone mentions in the sample from Dyna Cycle, was there something different? Did you do a little bit harder riding? I don't think so.
No, we didn't.
We rode like we always ride.
Right. I know how we ride.
Yeah. I didn't do anything different. And we'd already been riding in June, July. I was already in the hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
I'd already been riding with my wife on the bike. We'd done some trips fully loaded. I mean, there was nothing different. So Blackstone recommends changing out the Dyna Cycle. Otherwise, I would have run it and done another UOA. And so I emailed them. I didn't hear back from them. I don't know. I got an apology. Hey, sorry for not getting back to you.
Right.
Otherwise I would have asked them for another sample and put it back in my bike and run it again. That's what Blackstone recommended. Just change the oil and let's see what happens. Instead, I put Amsoil on my bike again because that's what I had.
Right.
So I'm going to go another 5,000 and do another UOA and see if it's, and by all means, we'll do a follow-up and I'll stand corrected because there's something wrong with my bike for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I'll be able to say, hey, it was not the oil at all. It was my bike.
Right. If you don't hear from us, it means there was nothing wrong with his bike.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. We would only do a follow-up if there was something weird.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. With that, let's take just a quick little break here. Mm-hmm. Hey, bikeaholics, do you have your grip on?
You know, the biker gripper.
Simply the best motorcycle cell phone, GPS, radar detector, and EFI tuner mount on the market.
Oh, it grips so tight.
That's right, 18 pounds grip strength to be exact.
So sleek and strong.
That's right, fits American or metric motorcycles and comes in black or chrome.
So what are you waiting for? Get your grip on.
You can get the Biker Gripper exclusively in the Law Abiding Biker store. Head over to www.lawabidingbiker.com/store and get your grip on. So I just want to back up real quick. Talking about noticing. So we talked about what we noticed about the Dyna Cycle compared, what you found. Is there anything else? So the problem, one of the problems you found was, reiterate what that was. When you got the lab results back, you said there was something weird.
Yeah. Let me actually open the.
What was it? You said it already in a little bit earlier.
I did.
Yeah. You said that was weird and you want to make sure it's not something with your, bike will follow up, but you said you noticed something on the results that caught your attention.
Yeah. I had high wear metal.
Okay. Well, maybe you didn't say it.
I don't think I did.
Exactly. Okay. Maybe my bad. Maybe I was reading this instead. So I just want to, I guess let's just clear it up real quick. What did you notice about, was there anything that you didn't like on the results? Because you said people could read them on there that Dyna Cycle kind of made you go, I'm not liking that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had, there was high aluminum and iron, and here's what Dyna Cycle says.
Aluminium.
I'm not ever going to say that. That's so wrong. It says we did find more iron, which isn't the normal trend we'd expect from oil that has fewer miles on it than the first sample. Aluminium went up too. So the engine made more piston and steel wear than it did the last time around. So,
you did say it though. You said they told you to change your oil immediately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Right.
Yeah. So they.
So basically saying it's done.
Well, yeah. Well, because that's why we did the pre and post.
Right.
Because they have a frame of reference to go, your bike's running good or not. And so here it's running really good. And then, it's something else, something changed. And then that's where they said, we don't know what happened. Did you ride harder? Or was there something different? And I'm saying, no, we rode.
Oh, okay.
We rode.
Gotcha. I got you. I'm just trying to put it all in a package here.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
And so one of the things they said was maybe there was a change in what the engine sees, like more idling or harder use. It's not harder use. And,
right.
Fuel dilution was really low. So when a motor idles, it doesn't always get hot enough to burn all the fuel, and the fuel can get past the rings and go down to the oil sump. So sometimes idling will cause oil in the fuel. But
fuel
there was
in the oil.
A fuel in the oil.
Right. Everybody knew what you meant. Right.
But that wasn't the fuel dilution was really low. So I don't know. And so that kind of freaked me out. And so I changed it right away. I mean, I might have rode another 100 miles because I had to, but I swapped it out. So whenever I get the next used oil analysis, we'll post it up with this stuff so you guys can see it. And then I'm going to go with this sample of Amsoil for, I don't know, we'll see how long.
Right.
And so you guys can see, hey, look, the Amsoil is holding up or not. Just because I've got it in my bike again. It was we had some money invested in this. I mean,
right. Yeah. A lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot of time and money invested in this. And they reached out to us and we wanted to do it for them. And we were, that was cool that they reached out to us. And so we took it seriously and we did dump money into this, and we dumped time and effort. And we're doing a podcast now and show notes and lab and results and this and pulling samples. And I mean, it's 2 bikes. And I mean, this has been a big project.
Yeah. Yeah, it really has. It's fun. I've loved every minute you're at. I love doing this stuff and I've loved every minute of it. It's hard when it costs, enough, and we're not out thousands of dollars, but there's a few $300-400 involved. Right. Not including time.
Yes. That's the biggest thing. Time. Yeah.
So in the end,
so is there anything else about these, that you want to go over these results?
No,
we're going to post them.
They'll be posted up so you guys can read them on your own. And then if you have questions or whatever, you can always email me. Or, you can research what the used oil analysis means. Mm-hmm. You can even call Blackstone. They are awesome to deal with. You can email them. You can call them.
If you guys have any questions for Oscar, you can email him direct at Justin. That's Justin at lawabidingbiker.com. And because I can't answer your oil questions. If you hit our contact form, it's getting straight up forwarded to Oscar. Sorry. I can't do it. I can answer basic questions, but yeah, if you get into craziness, if you're an oil head,
I'll definitely answer questions for you. And try out a used oil analysis once and see. It's kind of cool to know. It's like getting a physical. You go get a physical every few years or whatever when you're younger, or every year when you're older, and it's akin to that. We all have, we're doing this because we have bikes. So we have a little bit of extra money. So $35 a year, even every other year.
Especially if you got another 2,000 out of your oil, or something.
Or more. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's guys that are doing, like, guys with pickups like mine going 50, 60, 70,000 miles on an oil change because of what they're doing. And yeah, I think it's totally worth it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for my pickup. I'll probably do it for my bike. I'm going to continue on with my bike. But it's totally worth it. It's worth a few extra bucks. And even if you did it every other year.
Right.
To extend that stuff out. So in the end, the Amsoil, it wasn't a perfect scientific test, but the Amsoil held up pretty well. In fairness to Dyna Cycle, there are things that could explain that. So the only way we would have truly known is that had I keep running it and running it and running it, maybe 2 or 3 more samples, if those numbers continue to climb, then that's, for sure. I wasn't really to keep necessarily risking it with my own money as far as having to pay for more of this stuff. So, I don't expect there to be an issue because my bike runs flawlessly and it's newer and it's got not that many, like 25,000 miles on it or something. So,
right on.
We'll let you all know if something was wrong with the bike.
Let's do this real quick, and then I got a question for you. Let's thank some of these flat donations. Thank you so very much, Colin Cattle Caddell, Caddell of Hollister, California. A substantial donation. Thank you, brother, for putting fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank to help us keep going on down the road. Also thanking Alan Kaplan of Boca Raton, Florida, and William Albright of Waianae, Hawaii. I hope that's how you say it. I know it's not aluminium. I say that real well. Waianae, Hawaii. Thank you guys. If you want to take action and if you want to help this podcast and you want to make sure that bikers around the world get a chance to hear it and that it keeps on going, lawabidingbiker.com/donate. We really appreciate that, guys. So the question at hand, Oscar, is, at the end of the day, I don't know if you can, and I haven't asked you this question. Was it substantial enough that you're going to switch to Dyna Cycle oil, or are you going to stick to Amsoil?
I'm going to stick with Amsoil.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember the conversation we had. That worried me there for a while. I was like, maybe I might be switching.
Oh, right.
It was a while ago, and I'm like, maybe I might be switching.
Because you were very fair about it. You were like, I might switch to it if it's great stuff. I don't care, you know?
No, but after everything, I'm going to, the temperature results, on we'll have the Excel spreadsheet that I made. It took me a while. That was a lot of data. We'll put that up along with the used oil analysis, but Amsoil was on average 14 degrees cooler. And I remember on the Sturgis trip, I don't know if you remember me asking me about it.
You were worried there for a little bit because you're like, hey, what's your bike running? And I pulled up alongside you and I'm running my real-time data on my Fuel Pack 3 on my smartphone and you're running Power Vision. You're like, dude, I'm like, dude, you are running hot. Why are you running that hot? I'm not running. I told you, I showed you my real-time data. I'm like, dude, I don't know. And we couldn't figure it out.
And we were going down the freeway at like 80. Now it was hot outside.
Side by side.
Right.
So, and I have a 103. Mine's a high output, but
the coolest you could ever run is going down the freeway.
Right.
It doesn't matter how hot it is out.
Right.
That should cool your bike down. Mine got hotter.
Yeah, I
on
remember.
Several occasions, and I was like, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Amsoil.
Yep. There you go. And again, we're not bad talking. If you guys want to give it a shot, they reached out to us. We tested it. That's just what we found.
Yeah.
And what we're sticking with at this point. But do your own test. We encourage anybody to go out and do your own tests and dump it in your bike and see if you like it and send stuff to Blackstone and
absolutely.
Whatever. We're not the final say on that, but anything else that was remarkable about the test or anything? If not, I have some other questions.
I don't think so. I mean, it went pretty well. We didn't have any major issues and bikes all ran good and no leaks. And
yep.
The only thing I didn't get from Mike, the only question he didn't answer was whether or not we can mix Dyna Cycle with other oils.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to shoot from the hip here and say it's probably fine. There's some group 5 and group 4 oils, or there's a group 5 oil that doesn't mix. I can't remember if it's PAOs or esters, but other than that, most synthetics are like group 4s, or they're one of the two, and they mix with everything else. Or group 3, which mixes with everything else. So I'm going to guess that it's not. That would be silly for them to make an oil that doesn't mix with other stuff.
Because we get that question a lot here.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but here guys will say, hey, I dumped Amsoil in, and I'm using Amsoil like you guys do, and now I'm just down a little bit, and all I have is regular 2050 on my shelf. Yeah. Synthetic Harley oil. Yeah, just dump it in. It's okay. It'll mix fine.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
And if you do that, just know that you may not go the 20,000 or 10,000 miles or whatever, but in a pinch.
Right. In a pinch.
Yeah.
And we're changing it. I'm changing it before 10 anyways. I mix it all the time because I got that laying around or this laying around. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, there's some mobile one over here, whatever. Red line, who cares? Yeah, it's not a big deal. And I'm going to go with Dyna Cycle. I think Mike probably just forgot that because I sent him like 6 questions, just an email with all this stuff in it. I'm going to say, hey, probably. But if you want to try the Dyna Cycle and you buy it from him, just ask him, hey, can I mix this with other stuff?
Right.
Other than that, I don't think there was anything else.
Well, I've got a couple things here. This is where I come in. So I don't see on their site, they do a lot of tests. On their site, let's go over their site. They're talking about test results and they talk about, let me see if I can find it for you, Oscar. And this is just Dyna Cycle. I was just going over their site the other night as a regular biker out here, trying to figure out, kind of what their site was all about and this kind of stuff. But if we go to product testing page, I notice that they test a lot of stuff. We beat them all, is what they say.
Yeah.
But I go down here and I don't see compared to Redline, compared to RevTech, compared to Spectro, but I don't see compared to Amsoil.
Yeah, it's in there.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Where?
Yeah. Their website's...
Okay, is it just their website?
Yeah, it is.
Just look at here, compared with Amsoil MCV. Oh, see, I just saw the MCV. Never mind. So see, that cleared up that question.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they tested Amsoil. They tested Harley. I thought they tested... Redline. I didn't read the Spectro one.
You're right. Harley Synthetic 3, which is the Screaming Eagle.
Right.
Okay, that answers that question. Yeah. And I'm just screwed up there.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hit the I don't care button.
Apparently I can't read. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, you got to do it to yourself.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I don't care.
How about this one for me?
You're fucking dumb, dude. You're dumb.
I do deserve that. All right. So, yeah. And I looked at dealers. I want to talk about dealers. If you guys, there's not a ton of dealers out there, for Dyna Cycle. In fact, I looked at our area. Watch this. If I type in 989 there, I don't know if you did this, Oscar, but that's it. That's our within 200 miles. That's our closest.
We're in Vancouver?
Yeah, like up here. Look at, I went in on the map.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, it's way up. There's one Dyna Cycle dealer. Of course, you can get it online. Look at this, but it's up on San Juan Island somewhere is where it's dropping the pin.
That's crazy.
National Historic Park is where it's. I mean, that's over here, but
yeah,
that's on San Juan Island. That's all I could find in the Northwest here, anywhere close to our neck of the woods. So I think they're an developing company.
Yeah, and
they're not all over.
There's actually quite a few oils like that.
Is there
across the U.S.?
With the internet, you don't really need facilities everywhere.
No,
you can kind of ship them out, right?
Right. But there's a lot of little small mom and pop oils and stuff. And they're like Schaefer. Not a lot of people have heard of Schaefer.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, but it's huge in the diesel world. But they're just kind of the smaller version of Amsoil, kind of a mom and pop deal. But it's a big company,
right?
But you don't know.
What are they doing? Mixing it in their backyard, dude?
I don't know.
Maybe fucking barrel or something.
In the basement.
Me and Grams were making some oil tonight, and we got us an oil company.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And we're just gonna mix up some oil and have some whiskey.
And is there a better evening? You got lubricants and intoxicants.
Right.
All right, then.
I'm 80. Yeah, dude. Mom and Pop's, well, yeah, we got our oil rig in the backyard, just digging oil. I don't even know how you do that, but all right.
Have you been to Texas? There's like oil rigs in everyone's backyard.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, so you're fine there.
It's true.
You know what?
Let's see, Ben. So product info page. Let's go to this real quick. I just have some links. I want to make sure we're covering everything here for you guys out here. So, and here's some of their stuff. And of course, it's based on their test.
Yeah.
It's a 2050. We didn't mention that, right? It's a 2050.
Yeah.
I was interested in this Dyna Cycle frequently asked question page. You actually put this link, didn't you?
I don't know.
Aren't these your notes?
No, those are yours.
Oh, explanation for saying. So it's a 2050 semi-synthetic.
Right.
So here, let me explain this a little bit. And then this is what I read.
Right.
Because I've always been like, okay, I get synthetic, I get semi-synthetic. Amsoil is a full synthetic oil.
Mm-hmm.
Dyna Cycle is a semi-synthetic oil. I'll read this little tidbit from Dyna Cycle site. All motor oils are made up of base oils and additives. In general, fully synthetic motor oils contain non-conventional high-performance fluids. Semi-synthetic oils like Dyna Cycle use a blend of non-conventional high-performance fluids in combination with conventional oil. So this oil, this allows Dyna Cycle to offer, of course, this is from their site, the exceptional performance of a synthetic oil with the low price of a conventional oil. Did you ever price them out?
Yeah.
Is it cheaper than Amsoil or not? Oh, so it is cheaper than Amsoil.
I could never find an actual per quart oil.
Okay.
And I'm no math major, but a 4-quart pack was $40.
Okay.
So I deduced that a quart was $10.
Right. Amazing.
They don't sell. I didn't see filters. I just saw oil for sale.
12th grade education.
It took me a while. I had it with a pencil. It's a thing, the rights.
Right.
Yeah, I get one of those out and do some division.
So that helps you with semi-synthetic guys.
$10 a quart.
All of you. So it is cheaper, and they're basically putting semi-synthetic on top of a conventional oil. is what they're doing.
No. They're
in combination.
They're mixing synthetic and conventional.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They're high performance fluids in combination with conventional oil.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So they're taking a group 3 and group 4 or something.
They're what?
Mixing. There's 5 groups of oil.
Yeah, you're over there mumbling group
I know.
shit that nobody knows what you're talking about, including me.
There's 5
which
groups.
is why I looked over at you like you're group 4. That's group 3.5. And group 30, that's 99%. Minus 2%, it's a group 3 oil. And that's why
You're out of control right now.
You got to speak up if you're going to.
Look at the time.
Yeah.
There's 5 groups of oil. Oils are classified in 5 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is like unrefined sludge.
Okay.
2 is
that's what I'm running.
Yeah, right. It's good for your bike. The buildup
Harley
coats
likes
the
it.
parts. Right?
Yep.
Group 2 and 3. Group 1, 2, and 3 are all conventionals. Group 2 is refined. Group 3s basically now are even called synthetic, even though they're not because they're so well refined.
Okay.
But group 4 and 5 are true synthetics. Poly, alpha olefins, and esters. I don't remember which one's which, 4 or 5. But anyway, so semi-synthetic could be a group 2 and a group 3, or group 3 and group 4.
Okay.
But
thank you.
Yeah, that's geekdom.
No,
Sorry.
that's good. That's good geekdom. And I'm glad you did, because you're over there talking about group 4. I'm like, dude, I have no idea what that is. Yeah.
So they mix them, and I don't know. The semi-synthetic thing was bigger about 10 years ago.
The semi-synthetic?
Yeah, it was kind of a mix, kind of like when we went from, revolvers to there's the SIG.
Right.
It had a revolver trigger, but it was a semi-auto. But there's so much, synthetics are so popular and they're so widely used now that I don't, just a few bucks cost.
Right.
Dyna Cycle go to a full synthetic and be fine.
Right.
Because they're only a few bucks cheaper than Amsoil. Like, I don't remember how much the Screaming Eagle is, $15 a quart.
Yeah, it cost me more to buy Screaming Eagle 2050. It was like $100, and when I walked out of the dealership, the last one before I switched to Amsoil, because you're a dealer and I get everything, you don't make anything, I know, but I get 6 quarts plus the filter for $100 from you.
Right.
I was walking out of the dealership for $140 with their frickin' Screaming Eagle 2050 and an oil filter.
So it must be $15 a quart. Or something.
So yeah, find yourself, a good, Amsoil dealer, guys. We've talked about that in the past, and give Dyna Cycle if you want to give it a shot. It is cheaper. If you want to do your own independent testing, like I said, I hope this episode wasn't to talk bad about them. The guys, that's just
what we did.
It's what we did. It's real life. It's what we do here at Law Abiding Biker. We feel like it's some of the most independent testing you'll get around, just because we're just real average everyday bikers with enough knowledge to be very dangerous.
Oh, super dangerous.
And so, we're bikers. That's why we did the Power Vision. We did the Fuel Pack 3. We're real everyday bikers. How does it relate to us? Not racers, not drag racers, not sterile environments and engineers and in glass tanks and white suits. We're just bikers out here trying to, figure this stuff out, what works in a real world environment. So there you go.
There you go. Well, I'll do some little write-up when this thing releases. People can kind of read through to refresh their memories if they want. But
before it releases, you've got a little time. You want to write the entire article?
Yeah, I probably can do something.
Sweet. Yeah, probably. That would be cool. And then I can attach the files. It'll be at lawabidingbiker.com/ and the episode.
Is that going to be more than 4 sentences?
Number, yes.
Oh.
And there's spell check on there, brother. You're good.
Oh, wow.
Don't even sweat it, dude. All right, Oscar, do you want to say anything else before we wrap it up? I think it was a good episode.
I love motorcycles.
Yeah, and oil.
Yeah.
Just straight up motorcycles.
I lather in it in the tub sometimes.
Guys, oh boy, we appreciate it and love having Oscar in the studio.
Just happy to be here.
Yes, because he brings a wealth of knowledge, as you guys can see, and hopefully we explain that in a way that's not too complicated, but that gives you some idea, what you can do in the future, with your oil and kind of what maybe you want to run, synthetic, semi-synthetics, and some of the tests, and that you too have the ability to send your oil samples off to a lab.
Amen.
And maybe get a little more involved. You don't have to get crazy like Oscar, of course, but you could certainly, a guy like me could at least, Blackstone Labs, to name one, would be able to come back and tell me, where things are at. And if they saw something, kind of like if you went for a blood test and they saw something, they'll call you and let you know, hey, we're seeing some really high aluminium.
Aluminium.
Just, if you hear high aluminium, number one, think of me. Aluminium.
If you use Blackstone, let them know you heard about them via the Law Abiding Biker podcast.
Yes, and if you try Dyna Cycle, please let them know too you heard it on the Law Abiding Biker podcast. We appreciate it, guys. All right, and call to action today, guys. That is right. Don't forget our Amazon affiliate. That's right. Support us out there, Bikeaholics. You can get everything over to Amazon. You can get aluminium over there if you want.
It is in bulk sales over there.
Bulk. And if you do use lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon, we get a small kickback, no additional cost to you. Bookmark that, baby. lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon. Once you go there, just bookmark that real quick and call it Help Lab.
Say
or
bookmark
Amazon.
again.
Yeah, bookmark.
And say aluminium again.
Aluminium.
Nice.
Yeah. And just bookmark it, guys, and call it Help Lab or Amazon Lab. There you go. Straight up, guys, really appreciate it. Don't forget to rate us in iTunes or Stitcher Radio. lawabidingbiker.com/iTunes or /Stitcher Radio. It helps bump us up in the rankings so more bikers around the world have a chance to find us and they can listen and they become part of what we call the biker revolution. All right, guys, peace out.
Peace.
Thanks, Oscar, for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it much. Aluminium.
Oh my God, you put aluminium out of control.